Good afternoon, Shirley. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm pretty well as well. University has begun again for me, so I had a very interesting day today. Coming back to the university and being also a student, it's very interesting. To have a combination of both roles. Let us say it's quite intriguing. Okay, so but wonderful, Shirley. Thank you very much for being with me again.
No problem.
Yes. Okay. So let's begin. So please give me a second. I am right now adjusting your because the objective is that all your classes are recorded, and the ideal developments, let us say, would be that I should be able to post those recordings into a YouTube channel. Nonetheless, we have had some troubles with YouTube ultimately, and it happens that we are not able to upload those videos to YouTube. So I'm trying to get into another account right now and to see if I'm able to upload such videos of your classes. Okay, give me a second, please.
Okay.
All right, wonderful, thank you. Yeah, just give me wonderful. Mhm. Okay, okay, wonderful. So just give me a second here. Okay, wonderful. So let's continue, okay? I'm sorry for that. Thank you very much for waiting. Okay, so now let's begin the class. So let me share my screen with you and let me show you here. I have prepared another presentation and also I have prepared an icebreaker, which is I think very interesting this time. It's going to make us philosophize a little bit. Okay, were you ever interested in classic Greek philosophy? Classic Greek philosophy, it's a very interesting subject because very ancient philosophers thought about the world as being some sort of compound, un conjunto of different elements, right? And from that particular philosophy system derive a theory that is very also that it's today very common as too, and it's this theory that says that the universe is formed of four different elements, right? Now, of course, when I'm talking about this very ancient Greek philosophy, it has also happened that throughout the years, this philosophy has had some sort of, advocates that have moved this topic into other fields. And some people now believe that depending on what specific element you identify with or you identify for, you are somehow telling a little bit of your personality. So I wanted to ask you, with regard to this four elements, which one of them do you think identifies you the most? That is to say, would you say that you identify more with earth, with water, with air, with fire? And why? Tell me, why is it that you prefer such a specific element?
Okay. That's complicated. But I didn't identify with water. That is like clean. You can washing the. I don't know. That's just like the main or see you need a clarify something. So or identify with water. I know that I don't say horóscopo. That is
Yes,
air, but yeah, that is air. You have the element for your sign, yeah.
yes,
So
exactly. Mhm.
and that is air, but I think that is more identified for the water.
For water. Okay, yes, I see. So for example, when for from what I have been reading, I have managed to understand that actually, yes, when you identify with water, it's because you have some sort of positive inclination towards being pure. That is to say, towards being honest, to increase your moral performance. That is to say, somebody who is always very much preoccupied about fulfilling his or her moral duties. So I think that is somehow a reflection of the most inner and somehow secret part of your soul. So it's very interesting. Sure, it tells me very much about your life too, if you identify with water. Okay, so thank you very much for telling me that. That's very positive, actually. It's to say that you are somebody who is very much worried and preoccupied in being a good person and trying to always reflect, right? Honesty, as I said, to reflect positivism, to reflect loyalty, maybe. Okay, so wonderful. Water. Okay, it's different from your science, as you said, in astrology and all these other fields, but nonetheless, I think it's not actually what other people say about you, right? Maybe other people say, no, you are more air or fire or earth, but if you believe that you are water, I think that you know yourself way much better, right? So you are able to say that. Okay, thank you, Shirley. Wonderful. So let's continue. All right. So what about your homework? How that particular field or assignment has been in this weekend? Have you been able to work on that on your assignments that I left for you?
Okay, I advanced my homework, but today because I and this weekend I was in trouble. So,
Mhm.
but I review for the when you use so sac sac n.
Right. Mhm.
So you can use sac when you only when you use adjective and nouns.
Mhm. Yes. Okay, so wonderful. Thank you very much for the question because that is actually our today's lesson. So let's get into it,
Yep.
okay? So that you know how to clarify those doubts and hesitations, okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. So please look at my screen, and that is the topic for today's class. It's so and by the way, such. Okay, the way you pronounce that is such with ch, right? With the ch sound, such. Okay. Let me also open here our, traditional documents so that we can have a record of everything we are learning. Okay, so Google Docs. Wonderful, here I am. Here we are. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, was my description accurate when I told you that when you identify with waters because you are somebody who is very, preoccupied, concerned about fulfilling its moral obligations, to perform loyalty, to perform pureness. Is that true in your life? Would you consider it's true?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I don't understand that.
Okay. I was asking, okay, I'm gonna say it a little bit more simply. Remind that I
Okay.
told you, right? When you are talking about these elements,
Yeah.
depending on what element you identify with, Greek philosophers, and especially people right now in anthropology or astrology, believe that the sign or the element that you select reflects your character, reflects your attitude, reflects you as a person. And I told you that from what I have gathered, from what I have been investigating, if you say that you identify with water, or if you say that you like water more than the other elements, it's because you are somebody who is always worried, concernido, preocupado, for being honest, loyal, por ser honesto, leal, pure of heart, pure in her moral actions. And I wanted to ask you, is that true in your life? Would you say it's a reflection or a good description of your person?
I think this is too bad because I don't like lies and that thing for the personal statement or different, but I think I consider it for me myself for honest person, and that's in war or another situation. But and really I don't know what's the characteristic for the air fire or probably this fire. This is very some type for the people or that's more stone or destructor. I don't know what the
Yes.
air. I don't know what mean air in my sign because that's horrible, but I don't know what mean. And the
Okay.
water, that's is for the creation. I don't know for this. This is like clean or this is like washing. Entonces, you can that probably that is the life for the onyx.
Okay. Yes, I understand. Well, wonderful thing. Thank you very much, Shirley. Okay, so I wanted to, for example, add these words here. Air. Let me increase this letters. Okay, so for example, this word, air, okay, aire, it's pronounced in the following way, like this. Air, like this, air. Pronounce it, air.
Air.
Exactly, air. Okay, wonderful, air. Okay, so let's continue. So for today, we're going to talk about so and such, right? We said so and such is going to be our first title. So this is going to be word number 1. Okay, no, come on. Wonderful, like that. Okay, here we are. So and such. Oh, this word, such. The pronunciation of such, as I was commenting with you, it's like this. Let me show you such. Like this, such. Just as it is read, touch with a ch sound. Okay, so such. That is the pronunciation. Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Here, so such. Okay, so let's come back here. What does it say? It says we use so and such to make a statement stronger. Okay. For example, we can say Talia works so hard. But we can also make a stronger statement and say Talia works such hard. This means that Talia works very hard. Here's another example. We can say Talia is a so hard worker. Okay, but we can make a stronger statement and say Talia is such a hard worker. This means, what does it mean? That Talia is a very hard worker. Okay, so as you can notice, because of such, as you can see, such. Okay, first of all, let's go with the definition of the words themselves. Okay, for example, so, so has a lot of meanings in English. Nonetheless, for our topic today, so is going to mean, okay, so is going to mean muy, okay, muy, we're going to translate it like that, muy, and such is going to be equal to tan, okay? Those are going to be our definitions for today's class. So we're going to understand it as muy, and such we're going to understand it as tan, okay? Wonderful. This is going to be our definition. So let's continue. So we use so and such, okay, with the aforementioned meanings. You know what does it mean, aforementioned? What does aforementioned mean? You know this word here, aforementioned?
No, I don't know.
Okay, don't worry. So that is a very good word, by the way, in order to use it in your writing, your essays, when you take the TOEFL exam, or if you're, talking about a very extensive and large subject, you can use this word, aforementioned. Let me, aforementioned. It means mencionados arriba, aforementioned. So, for example, if you are talking about super large topic and you have mentioned, let's say, 0 and 1 in your introduction, if you continue talking and talking and talking, and at some point in your presentation or your speech, you say, let's remember the aforementioned numbers. You would be talking about 0 and 1, right? Because you say, recordemos las cifras arriba mencionadas or mencionadas arriba, okay? Because in your introduction, as I say, you talked about 0 and 1. And if you say, now let us remember the 0, let us remember the aforementioned numbers. You're talking about recordemos las cifras mencionadas, okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. Aforementioned. So we use so and such with the aforementioned meaning, okay? In this case, is so with muy, such as tan, with so and such to make any statement or description more, well, stronger. Like this, okay? Para hacerlo más fuerte. Now, some examples. You are so beautiful. What would it mean? You are so beautiful. What does it mean here? What is this sentence meaning?
Tú eres muy bonita. This is like
Exactly.
the stronger the adjective.
Yes, exactly. You're so beautiful. Now, if I say, you're such beautiful. You're such beautiful. What does it mean?
Tú eres tan bonita.
Yes, exactly. Tú eres tan bonita, right? In this case, of course, in most of the contexts or most of the circumstances, you would complement the sentence here. You're such beautiful that I would marry you, let's say. But nonetheless, the simple sentence is also true. You're such beautiful that I will marry you. Eres tan bonita que me casaría contigo, right? But if you talked about this, like if you erase this, and you just have this simple sentence, you're such beautiful, eres tan bonita, it also works. I mean, as I say, when you are seeing these words in this context, okay, talking about statements or descriptions, you're understanding as meaning so, muy, and such, tan, okay? So you are so beautiful, muy bonita, you're such beautiful, tan bonita, okay? That is the first example. Now, let's say Another example here. Okay. For example, Talia works such hard. What would it mean here? Surely. Talia works such hard.
Ella trabaja muy duro, muy fuerte.
Okay. Yeah, but remind that such in our context, right? It's tan. Ella trabaja tan duro. Such, tan. Okay. Why is this difference? Because, I think that, well, at least in my understanding, maybe it's a little bit different for you. But when you say tan, this is even stronger than if you say so. Because if you say muy bonito, it's not as strong if you say, or if you are saying tan bonito, right? Tan, it's a little bit more stronger, right? It's like more powerful, tan. And if you say just muy, it's like, okay, muy, but nonetheless, tan, it's like more, right? Is that true for you as well? You understand it like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
wonderful. So whenever you say this one, it's tan, okay? Such is tan. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so now you were telling me that you had a specific concern with regard to this one, right? Please tell me that concern.
Sentence?
No. For example, if I tell you this word here, do you know what it means? Concern. What does it mean, this word, concern?
No, das ist like, no, I don't remember what mean.
Yeah, don't worry. It's fine. No, it's fine. It means duda. Concern. Do you have any concern about this? Duda, preocupación. Right?
Yeah.
In that mean, you have some concern, duda, preocupación with regard to this. So I was asking you, do you have any concern with regard to this? You told me, right? I have some little concern, some little doubt in how or when should I use so and such. So please, I am asking you, could you please repeat that concern so that I can help you with that specific concern you had?
Yeah. My question in that, so my concern in this SAS and so that is when you use, okay, that here in this sample that is fine, no problem on so we said, but in another sentence you use adjective in nouns. When you describe adjective in nouns, only you use such, you can no use so.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I understand your question. So for example, if I say, you're such, I don't know, a grumpy person. Oh, you're such a, let's say this, you're such a fool, right? You mean like this, right? With a noun, you're such a fool. You're such a fool. In this meme, or in this case, you're meaning, eres tan tonto, like, you're such a fool. Eres tan tonto, you're such a fool. Or eres un gran tonto, like, with that intonation, right? You're such a fool. So when you say, for example, this, you're such a fool, right? Imagine that you are discussing with somebody, I don't know, who it's very, very intelligent, and I don't know, maybe that person believes that 1 + 1 it's 3, right? Oh, you're such a fool. Get out of here, right? So in this case, for example, such a fool would mean something very similar to tam, okay? But the intonation is different, of course. But in this case as well, you're trying to make the statement strong, right? You're trying to express to this person who is a fool that he is a fool, but he's not just a fool. He's a very, very high fool, right? Like somebody who is super, super full. So whenever you use these ones, such or so, you always use them before an adjective or before a noun. For example, okay? So in order to respond your doubt, let me write it here. If you say, for example, whenever we use them, whenever we use such and so, they go before adjectives
Yeah.
and nouns. Okay, wonderful. So let's see some more examples. If we say, for example, this one here. He's such a good president. He's such a good president. What would this sentence mean, Shirley? He's such a good president.
Él es tan buen presidente.
Exactly, exactly. If you use, for example, they're such doctors. Okay, they're such I don't know. Yeah, like that. They're such doctors. In this case, what would it mean? They're such doctors.
Ellos son tan doctores.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I mean, literally, the sentence would mean that, right? And in this case, it would literally mean, tú eres tan, o sea, tú eres tan atonto, right? But remind that when you are using such or so before a noun, you also have that, somehow descriptive element. De todas maneras, siempre que uno está usando such antes de un sustantivo, como tonto, por ejemplo, o doctor, a pesar de que literalmente esta sentencia, claro, significa ellos son tan doctores, obviously you are not meaning it like that, right? No significa literalmente esto, sino que significa son tan buenos doctores, right? O son como si estuviéramos diciendo, por ejemplo, aquí en Santa Cruz, ¿no? Son unos doctorazos, right? Like that. Or tú eres un tontazo, right? I mean, you're making like a very strong statement. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Although, as I say, literalmente esto significa, as you know, ellos son tan like that. Tú eres un tontazo. Mm-hmm. Do you understand now?
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, that's his connection. Okay, what happened?
I'm sorry, Shirley, I don't know what happened. It just took me out of the class. Are you fine?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know, that's my internet or your internet, but there's connection.
Yeah. In this case, I think it was mine, but I'm not sure if it was my internet or if it was some sort of internal trouble, but it just took me out. It's weird, because as far as I am informed, actually I have like the best internet possible. When you hire it from T or any company here, but it still happens this sometimes to me. I don't know why. I mean, right? I mean, not that satisfied with my service right now. Doesn't matter. Okay. So I was saying, do you understand with the last explanation I gave you? What does it mean here? You're such a fool, or they are such doctors? Did you understand?
Yep. Yeah, that's clear.
All right, wonderful. Any other doubt you may have?
No, that's clear.
Okay, right. Now, if we say, they're such, what would it mean here? We're such a students.
I don't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to share it.
Okay.
So we are such students. What would it mean here?
This is like nosotros somos no tan si somos como estudiantes o algo así.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you, yes, exactly. I mean, if you can understand like that, it's exactly what it means. You go to say, somos muy buenos estudiantes. Yeah, like, but when you use such before a noun, it means, yeah, we are somos muy buenos estudiantes. But given that we are from Santa Cruz, we can say yes. Estudiantazos, right? Something strong.
Yeah.
Very good. Wonderful. Okay. Any other question with regard to this?
No, I don't have no question for that.
Okay. Any other topic you may have a question about? Tell me.
Okay, yeah, that's I in my brain looking the expression for. This is like similar problem for the get and the other time the over. So in this for the way I have different sentence and feel for someone when you use translation for that expression. That is different so I don't I I don't understand what means exactly when you say, for example, to feel for someone or feel like doing something.
Mhm. Okay. Could you write that sentence in the chat box, please, so that I can read it? Could you please write that sentence in the chat box?
Yeah, I had some like okay. Um,
Okay.
that feel is like siéntete libre or does it feel funny? Does like divertido, ser tú mismo yourself, and back then this the first sentence like siéntete como alguien, se refiere a esa expresión o y decir, siéntete
Okay.
como están haciendo las cosas es different expression.
Mhm. All right. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, now I see it. So yes, I mean, with regard to, for example, let me paste it here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna write it as a title. The expressions like this. So in this case, for example, these are particular expressions. And for example, if you remind when we were talking about some expressions with get, right? I think that you mentioned it. I told you that for some expressions with get, Americans have already determined meanings for those sentences, right? For those specific expressions. It is exactly the same case with here, with this sentence here, okay? Feel for someone. In this case, feel for someone obviously doesn't mean sentir por alguien literally, okay? No se significa eso literalmente. In this case, it would mean,
Yeah.
right here. Like this. More or less, that's estar conectado a alguien. Feel for someone. Estar conectado a alguien. Feel for someone. Yeah, feel for someone, man. So, conectarse a alguien. In most of the cases, this obviously has some sort of romantic context, right? Feel for someone. Have you feel for him? Have you felt for him? Are you feeling for her? Like, te estás conectando a ella, right? But in a romantic expression. Nonetheless, I guess it could also be used in more, common and non-romantic situations. Nonetheless, as I tell you, this is way more probable to be found in romantic contexts. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, wonderful. Let me go for the last one. Feel somebody out. Okay, so here, feel somebody out like this. Feel somebody out would mean like this. Like this. Tener empatía. Feel somebody out. Tener empatía. Feel me out. Right? Sé empático. Feel me out. Tenme en cuenta. Tener empatía por alguien. Feel me out. So, again, this is a sentence that Americans have defined the meaning of. And of course, it doesn't mean sentir a alguien afuera, right? Literally, obviously, it doesn't mean that. But it means tener empatía por alguien. Feel somebody out. Have you ever felt somebody out? I mean, can't you feel me out? O sea, puedes tener empatía por mí. Okay? Is it clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
All right, wonderful. And for the other sentences, I think you understand, right? Feel like doing something. So, siéntete como si estuvieras haciendo algo. Feel up, como ingrésate, ¿no? Relaciónate con algo, right? Feel free, siéntete libre, feel like something, como algo, feel yourself, feel funny. Is that, okay? I think those are very understandable. Or is there any of those expressions that you may want me to explain, apart from these two?
The feel up to some, the feel up to something.
Okay, feel up to something. Feel up to something. Like this. Feel up to something. Involucrarse con algo. Feel up. Honestly, I don't see many people using this one. I guess this is a super American expression like that you would rarely find in a normal conversation. Nonetheless, it's fine to know them, right? Feel up to something. Involúcrate con algo. Feel up to it. Feel somebody out and feel for someone. Okay, so feel up to something would mean involucrarse con algo. Could you please fill up with this? Right? Fill it up. Involúcrate. Is it clear?
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, my pleasure. So those are, as I say, very American expressions. If you find them in a context in which it is possible for you to identify them, fine. I don't think these are normally used, okay? I don't think that this is something that you should study or something that you should be worried about knowing. I think you should actually emphasize on way different subjects in order to understand English, okay? Like the most basic and generic English expressions are way more important than these ones, but of course, it's a matter of learning too. If you want to use them in some context, fine. All right, wonderful. So let's continue. Okay, wonderful. So here, gerunds and subjects as subjects and objects, okay? So you remind what is a gerund, by the way?
I know that's gerundios.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what exactly they mean because I don't well in language for the That's ideas
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. No, don't worry, it's fine. So a gerund or gerundio, just as you said, it's basically the base form of a verb plus three letters, I, M, and G. For example, it would be the it would be like the same expression for words in Spanish, like let's say caminando, saliendo, jugando. In this case, for Spanish, jugando is a gerundio, right? And how do we identify that jugando es un gerundio? Because it ends in ando, right? Ando, endo, right? Those are the gerundios. In this case, for English, ando, endo are changed for ing, in, okay? When you see a verb ending ing, you know that is a gerund or un gerundio. Is it clear?
Okay, that's clear.
Okay, so let me write it here anyways. So when you talked about gerunds,
Okay, when you use gerund in that sentence, you don't need the subject. That's good.
yes, let me show you. Base form of the verb plus ing. Okay, so that is a gerund. Oh, come on, why it says they are the, I don't know how to say this, like, okay, the equivalents. Okay, wonderful. Equivalents to ando, endo. Okay, wonderful. So when do we use these ones? Of course, we use them in sentences when we're talking about, you know, when we're talking about present continuous, right? We are playing, I am listening, I am singing, right? But that is super basic. We don't need to talk about that. Today, we want to talk about gerunds as subjects and objects. That is the topic for today. Because you understand, right? When you talk about gerunds in the context of present continuous, we are playing, we are working. Do you understand that? I mean, is that clear to you when you use gerunds in that particular setting?
Yeah, that's
Wonderful. So for this one, it's different, okay? So gerunds as subjects and objects. Gerundios como sustantivos y objetos. Here we're not talking about present continuous. Aquí ya no estamos usando gerundios en el presente continuo. Ya no es, we're going to use gerunds, vamos a usar los gerundios como sustantivos y como objetos. Ese es el nuevo motivo o la nueva función que le vamos a dar, okay? So let me show you. Okay, here. For example, a gerund acts like a noun and it can be the subject of a sentence, okay? Okay, for example, if I say, okay, okay, help me with this, okay, Shirley? I'm gonna tell you a sentence in Spanish. Voy a decir una sentencia en español, and I want you to translate it for me into English, okay? La sentencia es la siguiente. Jugar es positivo. How could you translate that? Jugar es positivo.
playing is positive.
Yes, playing it's positive. Playing. It's positive. Okay, wonderful. In this case, for example, you use a gerund in order to describe a subject. Okay, un sujeto. En esta oración, ¿cuál es el sujeto? It's obviously playing, right? Because the sentence is surrounding or it's about playing, right? Jugar. Playing, it's positive. So here in this case, if you notice, you're using playing as what? As a gerund. in order to use it as a subject too, ¿ok? Estás usando este gerundio, jugar, para referirse a un sujeto, es decir, lo estamos usando como sujeto en esta oración particularmente, ¿no? Jugar es positivo. Now, of course, I'm going to write it here. When you use the gerunds, as subjects, they will mean as a normal version of the verb, like this. ¿A qué me refiero con esto? Acabo de escribir, cuando usamos gerundios como sujetos, serán entendidos como la versión normal del verbo. In this case, when I say playing, it's positive. ¿Qué significa playing? What does playing mean specifically? ¿Qué significa específicamente playing en esta oración? Playing, it's positive. No significa jugando, es positivo, right? Significa jugar, es positivo. So that's what I'm writing here. When we use the gerunds as subjects, cuando usamos los gerundios como sustantivos, van a ser entendidos como la forma normal o como la versión normal del verbo. Es decir, jugar es positivo. If I say, for example, cooking, it's, let's say beneficial. En este caso, cooking, what does it mean? Cooking.
Cocinar es beneficioso.
Exactly. Again, cuando lo usamos los gerundios, porque este es un gerundio, right? Remind, a gerund, un gerundio es la base de un verbo plus ing. So, by definition, this is a gerund, okay? So now, when we are using gerunds, okay, remind, as subjects, como sustantivos, serán entendidos como la versión normal del verbo, es decir, cocinar es beneficial o beneficioso. Jugar es positivo, right? Jugar es positivo. Cocinar es beneficioso. Is it clear? Shirley?
Yeah, that's clear. I have a question for
Wonderful.
that, but in second,
Yeah,
you
tell me.
right. Use the is you always you need that, or does it depend for another example? Does it like gerundio it's better to be in adverb?
Okay. So I understand your question. I think it's your connection, but I understand you're asking for this, right? Is it always necessary to include it's? Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. It's actually not, okay? It's actually not necessary to always include it's. Let me give you an example. What would it mean here? They are very eager for playing. Did you ruin it in this case? What would it mean?
Ellos están muy ansiosos para jugar.
Exactly. Están muy ansiosos por jugar. Muy ansiosos por jugar. They're very eager for playing, right? So you can see, you don't actually necessarily are going to use it's. You can use this gerund, okay? And again, whenever you use gerunds as subjects, okay? Because in this case, playing is a subject, right? There are two subjects in this particular sentence. Hay dos sujetos o sustantivos en esta oración, right? Ellos y jugar, right? Jugar también va a ser un sustantivo porque there is a commentary, that is to say, there is some sort of complement in a verb affecting that subject, or even if it is not a subject, incluso si no es un sustantivo acá, significa de todas formas un objeto. Entonces, siempre que es un objeto o un sustantivo, like this one, for example, they're very eager for playing, siempre va a ser, de nuevo, when we use the gerunds as subjects, okay, and I'm going to complement here, or objects, they will be understood as the normal version of the verb. En este caso, es como un objeto más que todo jugar. So, when you say, ellos están muy ansiosos por playing, lo que está uno significando es por jugar, no por jugando, right? Por jugar. So, the rule, our rule here, the principle, el principio que tenemos acá, se repite. Que cada vez que usamos un gerundio como sustantivo o como objeto, va a significar la versión normal del verbo, es decir, jugar. Is it clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay.
8.
If I say, for example, esta oración acá. Correr y chocar son mis hobbies. Again, we are not using it for are, pero la regla se sigue aplicando. Running, and crashing, correr y chocar son mis hobbies. This is something that, I don't know, a motorcycle pilot could say, right? Un piloto de motocicleta quizá podría decir esto, right? Running and crashing are my hobbies. Is it clear?
Yeah, that's clear. But in this sentence, that says running and crashing for the like object.
For what? Excuse me?
In this sentence, running and crashing is for object, por un objeto en esa oración.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like, even if they are not objects, even if they are, in this case, they are subjects, okay? Obviously, because the verb and the entire complement are related to this, right? Running and crashing, right? These are subjects. But even if they are objects, okay, surely, that is my point, incluso si son objetos, la regla se repite. Es decir, aquí esto, running y crashing, significan correr y chocar. Nunca van a significar corriendo y chocando, sino siempre correr y chocar. So that is the thing I want you to understand. It's not necessary to always think about, are they subjects or objects? I mean, it's okay. You can identify them, sure. But nonetheless, the important point here is, if you see these expressions, okay, as subjects or as objects, doesn't matter what they are. They always mean correr y chocar, es decir, la forma, la versión sencilla del verbo. ¿Es clear? ¿Eso está correcto?
Sí, that's fine.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. So, eso es importante acá, okay? Doesn't matter to identify, but yes, in this case, there are subjects because, as I say, you have this verb and this complement talking about these two things, right? But in this case, it's obviously an object, right? Because the subject are they, right? And playing, it's like a complement. It's part of a complement. So it's an object. That is the difference somehow. That when it is an object, it is not the central element of the sentence, right? But it is somehow part of the complement. Cuando es un objeto, es parte del complemento. As in this case, right? They are very eager for what? For playing. For playing es el complemento. And in this case, playing viene a ser un objeto porque es parte del complemento, right? Maybe that helps a little bit to clarify it even more.
Yeah.
Objeto y sujeto. ¿Ok? Pero, en todo caso, jugar, correr y chocar. ¿Ok?
Okay.
Entonces, lo que yo aquí decía era que cuando hay un elemento central en una oración, en este caso ellos, por ejemplo, ¿no? Cuando hay este objeto central acá, de ellos, sabemos que este es el sustantivo porque el verbo y el complemento hablan de esto, right? De ellos. Pero en este caso, playing, acá, el gerundio, pertenece al complemento, ¿no? Porque esto vendría a ser como el complemento, ¿verdad? Right? So, when they are part, cuando el gerundio es parte del complemento, they are objects. And when they are the central elements of the sentence, cuando son los elementos centrales de la oración, y lo demás lo complementa y lo afecta a esto, el verbo y el complemento, ellos son sujetos. ¿Sí?
Okay.
Clear now?
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that's clear.
Okay, wonderful. So, any other question? Any final doubt here? Any final hesitation?
No, I don't have more question. I in my word this is my last homework for today in the gerundio, so I can advance now.
Yeah, certainly. So if you have any questions though, always please, you can send me a WhatsApp message. I'm going to be super glad to help you, okay? So I'm going to save this. Okay, we're in August. We're on August now, okay? So this would be August 1st, like this. August 1st. Oh, let's let this. Like this. So and one. Here. Okay, August. Okay, entonces, I'm gonna take your assistance, okay? A second here. And please, help me with our tradition, all right? Wonderful. Here. And let me see, Shirley, excuse me a second.
Okay. Ready.
Here it is. Okay, this is the one, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so I sent you the document August 1st, and please, if you have any question, anything, you tell me. Okay, so tomorrow, I'm going to post, I'm going to post the final tests for this unit today. You're going to have time to complete them until Wednesday, so don't worry, okay? But you're going to be able to see them from, beginning this night. That is to say, since tonight, you're going to be able to complete the tests for this unit, okay? Los exámenes para esta unidad van a estar disponibles desde el día de hoy hasta el miércoles, okay? Para terminarlos. And tomorrow, I'm going to be helping you with that, okay? So please make sure to check them out so that if you have any question, anything you may want me to clarify, you tell me tomorrow, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, wonderful. So thank you very much, Shirley, and have a wonderful night. Okay?
See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.